Cracks in the Wall by Dai Booth. It's an old building, Becky said, when Peter asked her. Do you get them in your apartment too? She had given him a look then, as if she thought he was trying to score an invite into her place, as if this was anything more than doormat chatter, as if he was interested in women anyway. When she reached the stairs, she looked back at him, just a glance, unreadable and strange, and he had dropped his keys. When he looked up again, vaguely embarrassed at his fumbling, she had gone. As soon as the dawn sun poured between the blinds, Peter was awake and studying them again. The cracks. They were hard to miss. When his bed was butted flush up against the wall, his nose inches away from the yellowing plaster. Perhaps Becky was right. It was an old building. The rooms were suffused with a delicate sniff of damp. At first he had noticed just a few, but soon he could see that the whole wall was a web of hairlines, like crackle care. On an old master, there was probably mildew. He was likely breathing in mold spores day and night. He wouldn't be surprised if the entire thing came down on him, a mud bank in the rain. But it didn't. When he was out and about, Peter mostly forgot about the cracks, but at night they became more preoccupying than ever. Of course, it was impossible for them to be visible there in the mute dark, but he was aware of them, lying there, quietly pulling humid breath on the edge of the unconsciousness. They troubled him, emblazoned upon the inside of his eyelids, a migraine of flickering capillaries. He started to think about the cracks a lot. Huh? I said. Becky drew the words out patiently. Penny for your thoughts? You're miles away, lost. Peter felt it. Dragged from contemplation by her voice, he felt a sudden irrational lurch of guilt. To be caught thinking about the cracks by an actual person, he concocted a weak smile. I might need glasses. He looked at her, paused at the entrance to next door, bag of groceries at her feet. The frown was perfectly in focus as she said, Oh, it comes to us all age, right? Right, yeah. The optician set him straight. He didn't need glasses. They tested for glaucoma and retinal detachment, injury, and cataracts, but confirmed only 20/20 vision. Lying beneath his sheets, he watched the walls. The cracks seemed to pulse, as if the building was breathing gently. Bringing up one hand, Peter tailed a nail across the plaster. It felt smooth, unbroken. He slid the edge of his thumbnail along the path of one crack, trying to wedge it in, but to no avail. The fissure was too fine. Even when he started to pick, he couldn't get in purchase. He must be imagining it. And yet he inched closer, lulled by the invisible hum of the air, until his nose touched the wall, his forehead, until he was near enough that his eyelashes brushed the paintwork. But still, the cracks were there, in sharp focus, running deep into the walls, deeper than the walls. He jerked back, heart galloping and palms sleek around him. The cracks telescoped back into the fabric of the building and further, out into the air beyond. Peter crushed his eyelids shut and keened. The night stretched. Eventually, he was exhausted enough to sleep. Morning shook him like a bleak dream for a moment. He thought he was dreaming then. He knew. The feeling of witness, of being seen, not eyes beyond the cracks. The cracks were eyes, sucking at his existence with their vacuum gaze, running deeper than four meek dimensions. Peter covered his face with his hands. The cracks were everywhere. They were in the air. Outside was no escape. They drifted like gossamer, beckoning him in. They bisected time, the world, the planet was fracturing. You look like death. Becky picked up the free newspaper from her doormat and folded her arms, regarding him warily. Are you sick or something? Death suddenly. It seemed like a remote concept. Peter gasped. Peter gaped. The air bulged. Can't you see them? His voice sounded breathless, not his own. See what? The cracks. He grasped at space, at the filaments of nothing waving that something. It's falling apart. There's nothing there, Becky said, a thin thread of emptiness peeling slowly across her forehead. Di Booth lives in Chester, UK, and enjoys painting pictures and exploring dark places. Daibu's story, Cracks in the Wall, was originally published in short editions July 19 Rendezvous.